Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of HBCU Conversations here on HBCU Game Day. Joining us now is Khadijah Robinson. She is the founder of the Nile platform, and it is a really cool thing she has going on. But before, Khadijah, I'll let you tell everybody about Nile. A little explanation here. Khadijah is my cousin, and there are always those instances where people say, never do business with family unless that family is on point. Khadijah is on point, so there are no issues here, okay? We have to worry about me being on point is probably the only concern. Khadijah, how are you doing?
I am great. I'm a little bit hot because I'm over here in Nigeria right now, but I am good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well over here stateside, and in an area you're familiar with as a Spelmanite. That's right, Spelmanite, right?
Yes, I am a Spelmanite. 2011, proud graduate of the illustrious Spelman College. Obviously,
okay. You can't see it, but over my shoulder here, we have a Spelman pennant. I put it up just for you. so tell everyone about Nile because it is really cool.
So Nile, my baby, is a digital platform connecting consumers with Black-owned brands online. So basically think like a Yelp, but you can use it to find Black-owned businesses that sell products on the internet. And we make it easy for you. You come to our site, you search for whatever it is you're looking for, and then we tell you about different Black-owned brands that sell those products on the internet. Essentially taking away all of your guesswork and all of your research.
Yeah, and that's really what it boils down to, because a lot of people talk about, hey, I want to spend X amount of dollars with Black businesses this month or this week or this year. Recently, when we had everybody bought all the toilet paper, I was like, okay, there has to be a Black-owned company that makes toilet paper. Now would be a great time.
There is Freedom Paper.
And
there is.
I found them. I ordered some. It's on the way. But that can be like a daily or, however often you're intentional about that, trying to find, where these Black-owned businesses are for the products or services that you're looking for.
So I wanted to just make it like, you don't have to do research. You can just search. You could have come to Nile. You could have searched for toilet tissue and we would have told you.
And it sounds like, okay, that was, an easy idea to come up with, but actually putting together an entire platform, that took a bit more work, huh?
That was the hard part. And I will say, I came up with the idea, and I didn't start out with the platform. I started out with a Google spreadsheet. So I was just like, okay, I need to collect information about Black-owned brands that are selling online. Let me throw it all into a spreadsheet, and then I can Control F whenever I need to find something. And then by the time I got like 700 businesses in this spreadsheet, I was like, okay, maybe a spreadsheet is not the best way to do this.
You by trade are a lawyer. How much of your
I am.
Air quotes here. How much of your lawyering did you have to call upon to make this a reality?
I don't think being a lawyer is really helpful in doing something like this outside of the basic business stuff. Like when I wanted to apply for a business license or draft up, different business documents or, operating agreement or something like that. And then more recently, I filed a trademark application, and it's helpful to have a legal background doing that, even though I don't usually do that kind of work. But honestly, I think you have to kind of unlearn some of the things about being a lawyer in order to be the founder of a startup, because lawyers are very risk averse and very, very sort of regimented. And to be a startup founder, you're just a crazy person who is doing all sorts of risky and different and crazy things all day, every day, and iterating until maybe you finally get something right. So it is very different.
Yeah, yeah. When I see you online promoting Nile, I always feel like that's your alter ego that I'm seeing.
It's very different, I will say. But in terms of me as a person, it's very on track because I mean, my parents, my family is very pro Black, very supportive of these sort of things, of Black business, of all things Black, really. And so that's kind of how I grew up. Um, and even going to college, my parents were like, "So, which HBCU are you going to?" So that's just been my background and who I am. And it was very natural for me when I was starting this to really be focusing on Black owned businesses because that's who I wanted to support.
So I was seeing the other day a list of all the companies that started during the 2008 recession, the startups from there. Things like I know Slack was one of them, so a product that I use every single day, and they've shown how these companies have been sold and bought for billions of dollars. There's a lot of talk about a recession on the way due to the coronavirus just shutting basically everything down. How important, or what thoughts do you have on Black-owned businesses that may be kind of in that same stage that you are, just getting started, and there might be some challenges ahead, but still pushing through those obstacles?
So I think there are definitely challenges ahead, and this is going to be a tough time for a lot of people. It is really a time to really think about your model, your plan, and to start iterating fast. And I think one of the things I've realized is that um, a lot of Black entrepreneurs start out and they think of themselves as small businesses instead of startups. And there are two different mentalities. And when you are thinking about yourself as a startup, a lot of the times these startup founders don't look like us and they have a completely different approach to the way they do things. And they're very willing to just burn through money and try all these new ideas and sort of see what happens. And it's easy for them to talk about pivoting and, iterating and changing their model if something doesn't work. And I think a lot of the times we're starting things that are very near and dear to our hearts. And we're doing it for a very specific purpose to serve a very specific community. And so we don't see that pivot as easily. But I think it is possible if you really think about it and hone in on what your mission is to really use this time to really pivot. And so, luckily, I will say, our motto is all about online shopping. And right now, that's basically what everyone is doing. If they're still shopping, they're doing it online. And granted, a lot of people aren't shopping as much as they usually would because, people are being hit with layoffs and just worried about the economy in general. But with this explosion of online traffic, we really had to think about what we're putting out there, not just our website, which is there and you can go and you can search for different brands and you can search for different products. So if you want to find your toilet tissue, you can go search on our page and find your toilet tissue. But thinking about different ways to bring these brands to the forefront so that people know about our platform, they know about the different brands, they know about the kinds of things you can find there, and thinking about the type of digital content we're producing. So, like I said, I'm here in Nigeria. I will be producing a show here, a series during the quarantine that focuses on Nigerian fashion and artisanal brands. And so, sitting down and doing Zoom calls with different founders of Nigerian brands to talk about how they started their brand, what it's like to operate here, and really highlight that, because there is a pop and fashion scene that a lot of people just don't know about here in Lagos, Nigeria, where I am. And I really want to bring that to the American audience and show them, like, yeah, you can get some couture, some high fashion, and it doesn't have to be from Italy. It can be from Lagos, Nigeria. If you know where to look. So we're going to tell you where to look.
Khadijah, I would dare say that is buying black squared. Like if we're going to go back to the motherland, that's like buying black. Like,
exactly. That is the goal. And honestly, I feel like when it comes to entrepreneurship in the Black community, there is no place like Nigeria. Because the entrepreneurial spirit here is just above and beyond. So I definitely love it, and really am looking forward to connecting with our audience on that point, and then just connecting with them on things that will help them sustain. So, for example, I am going to be hosting a support call for Black entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial creatives on April 15th. On April 18th. Just with different industry experts and business owners about how we can support one another and how we can strategize to make sure that all of our businesses really make it through this time, because it's definitely not going to be easy, particularly for businesses that rely a lot on events or on some brick and mortar sales. It's not going to be an easy time. So we're going to be doing different things like that are content driven, but also really community oriented, because, I always focus on the word community when I talk about what Nile is. I really view it as a community and as a way for people to connect with one another and connect with amazing brands that just so happen to be Black owned.
We're talking with Khadijah Robinson. She is the founder of Nile. You can't see me right now, Khadijah, but I have one heck of an old man's afro growing because, quarantine.
The barbershop is closed.
It's kind of messed up my barbershop experience. How important would you say it is for the Black community to continue to support our Black businesses that are hit the hardest? So, maybe send a love offering to your barber or your stylist who's really having a hard time right now as an entrepreneur.
Listen, it is very important. And I will say this, one of my favorite DJs has started doing live, Facebook live sessions. And I wrote down his Cash App the other day so that I could send him something, because when I lived in Atlanta and I was in college, I used to follow this DJ around, DJ E-Class. I followed him around to every party, to the point where, he would text me and be like, I'm going to be DJing at this event, come out and take care of me. And so, when you have someone like that who's completely dependent on these live events, they're getting hit extremely hard. And luckily, he has the ability to go online and DJ for us. So sometimes I'll turn on my Facebook Live and just let it play while he's DJing and I'm doing stuff around the house. And he puts his Cash App up there. And so I have it on my to-do list to make sure I send him something and let him know that I appreciate him. And I want him to still be giving us, dope music while we're in quarantine, because I don't know if I will make it all the way through if I don't have someone else curating my playlist. I'll be going into my sad Spotify playlist during quarantine.
Yeah. All those commercials keep playing. You're like, oh man, you just broke my groove there. It's crazy. My college roommate did the same thing last night, and I was in the comments throughout his live event posting his Cash App. I was like, hey, these turntables do not pay for themselves, people. They were not made exclusively for your free pleasure, but not always for free. What do you hope the ultimate impact as you move forward that Nile will put into the community?
I really hope that it changes the way that people think about buying Black. Unfortunately, I think in many contexts, as soon as you say Black owned, People like,
Can I play? Oh, I know. Can I get a discount? Can you hook me up? I'll give you
can I
great
get a discount?
exposure.
Great exposure. Can you hook me up? Or it's even like, oh, is it janky? Are they gonna be? What is their customer service like? I don't know. And then they'll tell you, basically, the last time I supported a Black-owned business in 1998, they had an attitude. I get a lot of that. And I had a real interesting conversation when I was first starting this out with somebody who was like, I try to support Black-owned businesses and then I have bad experiences and they don't do this or they don't do that. And I'm like, that's really interesting. So tell me, do you shop at Walmart? And they're like, well, yeah. And I was like, okay, so last time you went into Walmart, what was the store like? Was it very well organized? Were the employees super friendly, very helpful whenever you needed somebody? They were there to help you get something that you needed or talk to you about a product. And they were looking at me like, are you crazy? No, this is Walmart we're talking about. It was hood. And I was like, exactly. You didn't have a pleasant shopping experience, but you still go back to Walmart, correct? And they're like, well.
Imagine if it was McDowell's and the ice cream was always
right. And we make these memes and we laugh about how you have these chronic issues and terrible service, and not even just like the customer experience at some of these corporations, but then you have like the corporate welfare aspect of it where they're literally just fueling issues in our communities with these minimum wage jobs and all this other stuff. So you have that aspect of it. And yet people patronize these businesses and there's like, what is the reason why? And so then I challenged people like, okay, now take that, what number of chances you are willing to give to Walmart because it's convenient, and apply that to Black-owned businesses because they're Black-owned and it's the right thing to do. And then sometimes you need to give supportive and constructive criticism. So maybe they didn't have great customer service that day. And you just say, hey, I come here every so often, or this is my first time here. I was really excited about shopping here. And I felt like the customer experience wasn't that great. And this is how I think you can improve. I do that a lot because I am my mother's child and she is well known to do that kind of thing. And people are very receptive to it. And then you can, instead of taking away a customer from that brand and potentially other customers, when you talk to people and tell them about that negative experience, you can help make their business a little bit better and help them survive and push through. And I think, that's really important. And then just letting people know about all the amazing things that we're doing. Because when I talk to people and they're like, oh, I want to buy Black, but, when I need to buy jeans, I can't really find somebody who makes jeans that's Black owned and like X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, dude, there are Black businesses out there that are making jeans. And, it may be hard work to find them now, but look, now it's easy because we made this platform. All you got to do is put in jeans and then you can find some businesses that sell jeans and other things that make paints, that make batteries, that make all sorts of things that people don't even necessarily think about when they think Black owned. Because a lot of times you say Black owned and people are like, oh, shea butter and natural hair care. Right. And you're like, yeah, those things are great. But we make so much other stuff.
Yeah. There's more than hair care. Hair care is important, especially during the quarantine. But there's a whole big.
Oh, it is. I went to Target, and I really enjoy that Target has focused a lot on minority businesses and carries a large number of Black health and wellness brands. And so I went to Target right before I came to Nigeria to go re-up on my Black hair care stuff. And I walked through there like, wow, y'all really came and stockpiled on the natural hair care stuff. Like, you couldn't leave me a couple of bottles of Curls and Camille Rose so I could go out of the country in peace. Like, dang.
So, how long are you there? How long are you going to be in Nigeria?
That is to be determined. Last week, the country closed the international airports and closed the borders. So there is no in and out. until they are reopened. And the tentative reopen date right now is April 23rd. So we'll see. But I must say, I'm not really clamoring to get back to the US. I've been watching the news and I'm just like, wow, it looks really crazy out there.
Look,
I think I'll continue to enjoy the sun and the pool.
Hold where you are. We're still trying to get our stuff together over here. It was you don't need the mask. Stop buying all the masks. Oh, maybe you do need the mask. Maybe everybody should have the mask. So at least let us get through the mask part before you even think about coming back.
Listen, and I will say I flew out of New York on March 17th. And I think at that time there were just over 500 confirmed cases in New York. And now there are like 30 something, probably 40,000 since the last time I checked the statistics. And that's just in 2 weeks. So I'm like, wow. And I still see people, hanging out in parks together and having barbecues. And I'm like, oh, so America's basically going to be shut down for the foreseeable future because folks are not listening.
Habitual line steppers. You know how we do. Habitual line stepping all the time.
Well, I hope the cookout is worth it because it's not looking good over there.
No, but we will get through. Tell us, Khadijah Robinson. She's the founder of Nile, helping connect consumers to Black-owned businesses. How can people get involved? Because I know once you kind of fall into your ecosystem, you'll get the newsletter, you'll get all the information. There's a lot of things happening on social media. What's the most efficient way to kind of get into your pipeline for consumers?
Right. So you can come to our website, thenilelist.com, and sign up for our newsletter, which will give you the plug every week during our quarantine. We're doing quarantine Mondays. We had our first one this Monday. So every Monday, we're going to be sending out a discount code to a different Black-owned business for people to shop with. Giving Cyber Mondays a run for their money. Those discount codes don't expire. So you will be able to save a few pennies to support a Black-owned business and all make it happen from your living room. So we're doing that on Mondays. And then we have our newsletter where we just talk about different updates in our community. And you can follow us on all the social media platforms. We're on Facebook, IG, Twitter, LinkedIn, even at the Nile List. So we are pretty easy to keep up with.
Okay. You might not know the answer to this question, but as a consumer, I wonder about this. When things kind of get back to normal, whatever normal might look like, do you think like everything's going to be on sale? Are prices going to just skyrocket? Is it going to be a mix of both? How do you think things will land when people are ready to go back to spending money at maybe what was once normal or something close to that?
Well, I don't think prices are going to skyrocket because, people are going to be probably more cautious with their money coming out of this. But I do think you will be able to catch, maybe not coming out of this, but the deeper we get into it, you're going to be able to catch some good sales. People are trying to offload the inventory that they have right now that's not moving as quickly. And then people are going to be trying to onboard new products. They had plans to have different items come in or to have a different, summer line of things. And those things are going to be ready and they're still going to have spring and winter products on their hands. So you will have people trying to get rid of some items. So I think that people who are able are really in a good position to shop right now. And they should really consider doing as much as they can with Black-owned brands, because in times like this, they are usually the ones getting hit the hardest. They have fewer resources, have already been generating less revenue. And so it's harder to stay afloat during periods like this where things are just so uncertain and people aren't spending the same way that they have previously. And then a lot of times I'm, I guess I'm a little bit biased because this is just what I do, but you'll find that a lot of the goods that are being made by these Black owned businesses are being handmade, or they are being made with, with ingredients and with inputs that are really superior quality. So you're really going to be getting things that last and things that are good for you, which is really important right now. Like, you don't want to be messing up your immune system with all kinds of craziness. So
a little less McDowell's.
I definitely think a little less McDowell's, So I think right now is a really good time to support Black brands and to let them know that we want to see them at the finish line. We want to see them when we get to the end of this, and not have them be, oh, I really used to like this brand, but they just couldn't keep the lights on throughout this coronavirus shutdown.
Well, she has made Spelman proud once again. She is the founder of Nile, the Nile platform, the Nile List. She is Khadijah Robinson, and thank you so much for joining us for an HBCU conversation here on HBCU Game Day.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And shout out to all my Spelman sisters. I'd be remiss if I didn't just reiterate that we are the number one HBCU, the illustrious Spelman College.
I might go take this banner down. Let me go put my Winston-Salem banner over the top of that. I mean, you were doing good, but then you got a little carried away there on the back end. But we'll let that.
I mean, you can put the banner over it, but you can't take away our number one spot. Just saying.
All right, support the Nile List, everybody. I'm Tali. She's Khadijah Robinson. Thank you so much for joining us here on HBCU Game Day.
Thank you.